Mm-hmm. No idea. What about biology?
So biology.
Repeat again, Priyanka. Yes, Priyanka, repeat again.
So,
In biology,
in
what?
biology we finished it, but then we didn't have other classes, so we should start a new chapter later. And in physics, friction.
Hmm. Physics friction is going on.
Yes,
Friction has been started.
like we
Okay.
just started the basic
Okay. Okay. Got it. Got it. Hey, Pubakar.
alcohol and petroleum.
Okay. How are you, Pubakar? Good. Good. Okay. Today we will quickly try to wrap up this chapter. That is microorganism. We have just one more topic to discuss, and then we'll be starting with a new chapter today. All right. So that is nitrogen fixation. Nitrogen fixation is one of the important step of nitrogen cycle basically. You know, nitrogen is one of the important mineral that is required by the plants. In fact, it is required by we human beings also, right? And nitrogen is particularly needed by the plants in order to make protein, right? Why do they need it? So that they can make proteins. Okay, Priyanka and Abubakar, right? So where do
Yes.
they get it from? So they can get it from the soil and soil only. They cannot get it from the air. Unlike the other gases, they can get it from the air, like they can get carbon dioxide and oxygen from the air, but they are not capable of getting it from the air directly. Although our atmosphere has around 78% of nitrogen gas now, right? Right. But can this atmospheric nitrogen, the form in which nitrogen is found in the air, right now, so in that form, it cannot be utilized directly by the plants or neither by the animals. So in order that the nitrogen gas of the atmosphere can be utilized by the plants for their growth, it has to be first converted into nitrogen compounds. First has to be converted into nitrogen compounds. Like here, this NH4, NO2, NH3, all of these are the compounds of nitrogen. Well, N2 is the nitrogen gas in the air. This is basically nitrogen gas in the air. Okay, also called as atmospheric nitrogen in simple words. So the plant cannot take it directly, but they can take it when it has been converted into compounds of nitrogen like ammonia, nitrates, nitrites. Those are the compounds of nitrogen. Okay. So the question is like, how does it get converted from this to this? How does it get converted from atmospheric nitrogen to compounds of nitrogen? So it takes place via the help of some bacteria or also via some lightning also it can take place. Getting it now? So the process of converting nitrogen gas of atmosphere or air into compounds of nitrogen which the plants can take up is called as nitrogen fixation. It is called as nitrogen fixation. Getting it, everyone? And this can be done by the help of some bacteria that are found to be living in the root nodules of leguminous plants. Leguminous plant, you remember we have learned about that in crop rotation in chapter number 1. Right now, Priyanka, both of you turn your cameras on. Where are others? Like Aman is absent. Or by the lightning also, atmospheric nitrogen can convert into compounds of nitrogen and get fixed into the soil. So nitrogen fixation is the process of conversion of atmospheric nitrogen into ammonia or other usable nitrogen compounds. So plant cannot take N2. Plant cannot take atmospheric nitrogen directly from the atmosphere. They will take it only in this form, either in the form of ammonia or other usable nitrogen compounds. Like NH3 is the ammonia, and then other usable nitrogen compound is NO2 or NO3. Basically, there are some other compounds of nitrogen. So right now we're learning about nitrogen cycle. What happens in this? It's in cycle you understand, like you learn about water cycle, in which what happens? Basically, water rotates between the earth and the atmosphere. Right now, Priyanka and Abubakar,
Yes,
water
sir.
basically moves in between the earth and the
Yes, sir.
atmosphere. So nitrogen cycle here, nitrogen will be moving between the air and through living organisms and water also, soil and water. So nitrogen cycle is the sorry. So nitrogen cycle is the process through which nitrogen moves between the atmosphere, soil, water, and living organisms. It will go from the air to the soil, right? Through the water also, and to the animals also, and then we'll go back again to the air. So it will involve several steps also, like it will involve steps like nitrification. Okay, no? Sorry, nitrogen fixation first of all. Then nitrification, assimilation, ammonification, and denitrification. This might seem a bit difficult, but they are easy to understand, which we'll be learning about. Okay. So the very first step is nitrogen fixation, which I told you moments ago that it's the process of converting atmospheric nitrogen into ammonia or other usable nitrogenous compound. So question, very simple question. In fact, it's hidden in the definition. Why does nitrogen need, like, why the plant needs nitrogen in the form of ammonia or other nitrogenous compound? Why do they need them in this form? Yeah. Simple, because they cannot
Sir,
directly. Mhm.
can you
Yes.
repeat again?
My question is like, why do plants need nitrogen in the form of ammonia or nitrogenous compounds only? Simple reason is that because they cannot absorb the atmospheric nitrogen directly through their leaves, right? They cannot take it directly. Leaves have stomata in them, na, tiny pores,
Yes, sir.
and through that gaseous exchange takes place. They can take in oxygen, give out oxygen, they can release a water vapor, but nitrogen cannot be taken up through that pores. So the first process is going to be nitrogen fixation over here. All right, now also in this exam, this diagram of nitrogen cycle can be asked in the exam. So here we have the atmospheric nitrogen. Atmospheric nitrogen, basically nitrogen in the form of N2, gaseous nitrogen. Then there are some bacteria that are found to be living in the root nodules of plants, or bacteria found to be living in the soil. So here we have nitrogen fixation. Basically, nitrogen is being fixed from the air into the soil. So here we have examples like blue-green algae. You guys remember the name blue-green algae, where we have learned about this?
Yes, sir.
In the same chapter, we have learned about this, no? In the topic bacteria, right? So they will be converting, like they will be fixing atmospheric nitrogen. Other than that, lightning also helps it, no? Lightning during a thunderstorm. So they fixes atmospheric nitrogen. So from here it gets fixed into the soil, and it is basically converting into compounds of nitrogen, which the plants can now take up compounds of nitrogen. Hope that much is clear so far. So now these compounds of nitrogen are now ready to be absorbed by the plants. So they are now taken up by the plants. Plants, sorry, plants absorb them. Absorbed by plants. Now further, as the plants will take it up, so they will use it to make protein. Okay, now they will use it to make protein, or very simple words, you can say that it is basically eaten as food. plant will be basically eating up that nitrogen as food. You can understand it. So basically, it is absorbed by the
Yes, sir.
plant's roots, and the plants would be using that compounds of nitrogen to make protein. Used to make protein. Now, further, these plants are going to be eaten up by the animals now, obviously, like particularly the herbivores and the omnivorous animals. So, eaten by animals, whether herbivores or animals, etc. Now, further, what will happen? The plants also die. So, as they will die, they will decay. Animals will also die. As they will die, they will also decay. Right? Due to their death and decay, the nitrogenous compounds that were locked inside their body, right? Basically, the nitrogenous waste of the dead plants, dead animals, and the excretion of the animals will further go into the soil now. Look at this image. Here you can see that as this cow will die, as the plants will die, so thereby what will happen? Their body will decompose, right? And their body will release nitrogenous waste containing nitrogen in them. So their body releases after death and decay. Hold on. Nitrogenous waste is released into the soil, right? The nitrogenous waste of dead plants, animals, and animal excretion is now being added into the soil. Okay. Further, these nitrogenous waste are going to be converted back once again into compounds of nitrogen by the action of bacteria and fungus. Bacteria and fungus will be now reconverting those nitrogenous waste, will be converting them into compounds of nitrogen. So they are basically decomposers here right now, decomposers. And these compounds of nitrogen are now ready to be absorbed by the plants once again. They're ready to be absorbed by the plants once again. Getting it, both of you so far? Yes?
Yes.
Okay, now that's the thing.
Yes, sir.
So plants will be taking up it from the soil in order to use it. Okay. Further, we will see that some of the compounds of nitrogen formed from the decay of plants and animals are decomposed by denitrifying bacteria present in the soil to form nitrogen gas. Like what is happening over here? Some of the compounds of nitrogen are converted back into the nitrogenous gas, into the atmospheric nitrogen by the action of denitrifying bacteria. What they do, let me tell you once again, the denitrifying bacteria will, like denitrifying bacteria decomposes some compounds compounds of nitrogen into nitrogen gas, of nitrogen into nitrogen gas. Like these compounds of nitrogen are now being reconverted back into the atmospheric nitrogen. So in this manner, the cycle goes on and on. In this manner, the cycle goes on and on, right? So from the atmosphere, we learned that the atmospheric nitrogen, like the nitrogen gas, is used again during also this, as this gas is now going into the nitrogen. Sorry, as this gas is, I mean to say, as the nitrogen gas is going into the air, so from the atmosphere, the nitrogen gas is used again during nitrogen fixation, right? And the nitrogen cycle is repeated in the nature again and again. And as a result of this nitrogen cycle, we see that the percentage of nitrogen gas is maintained in the atmosphere. It remains constant. So now we have like completed all the topics from this chapter. Okay, one more thing is there. That is, what is the importance of nitrogen cycle? After that, we'll be in a position ready to answer some of the questions. So importance of nitrogen cycle are as follows. It is essential for making proteins and DNA, right? Protein and DNA is needed by all the living things to grow and function. Then it is good for the health of the soil because nitrogen is one of the important minerals required by the plant in order to grow, right? Then it helps in balancing the ecosystem also, right? Because when the plants and the animals are dying, So the nitrogenous compounds locked inside their body are now being converted, are now going back into the soil from where it eventually come. So it is actually maintaining a balance in the ecosystem, right? Then nitrogen cycle also helps control the amount of nitrogen gas in the atmosphere, which is important for clean air. If there is excessive of nitrogen gas in the air, or if there is less amount of nitrogen gas in the air, it can actually lead to air pollution. So hence, a suitable amount of nitrogen gas in the atmosphere is required. All right. We will do some of the questions and we'll be starting the chapter combustion and flame after this. Okay, Abu Bakr?
Yes, sir.
Okay, answer some these questions quickly. Try to answer them quickly. So, which is not classified as major group of microorganism?
Sir, D.
Obviously, good. Next question.
Sir, A.
A. That's correct. Next, typhoid is what kind of disease? Caused by a bacteria, a viral disease, a fungal disease, or caused by a protozoan. Name of the bacteria that is responsible for typhoid is Salmonella typhi. What's the bacteria? Salmonella
Sir, C.
typhi. So that is option number C. It's a bacterial disease. The bacterium is the singular word used for bacteria. Okay, na? So it promotes the formation of milk into curd. Which bacteria is this? It's the
That is the lactobacillus.
exactly. Fifth question.
D.
Very good. By the way, Abu Bakr, um, as I have checked your question papers, I have checked your assignments, there I like it was very inconvenient in checking. Like all your assignments are kind of rotated. It's not proper. I even written it down to upload your assignments in the right format. Like like I have to rotate the tab, I have to rotate the iPad, and then I'm able to check it. Like I have to lock the screen, then rotate it completely, then it becomes a bit inconvenient. Okay, no? So the next time be careful, like please upload it properly. Okay. Hmm.
Sir, like you mean that it should be straight.
Yeah, it should not be like upside down or sideways rotated. Okay, no? Like that. It should be just like you're seeing this page now, right over here. All these questions, not it's not
Sir,
rotated in the. Mhm.
because I take the photo by phone, so then it will be small. So then I think it will automatically become sideways.
Oh, is that the case? Okay. But that should not be happening. Like other kids also take the photo from the smartphone only and then they upload it. Don't know what's happening in your case.
Sir, but then like I don't take photo from the camera. Like I take the photo from the sir, the app itself. Yeah, so I
Oh,
don't know.
from the app itself you are taking it. No, no, don't take it from the app then. Then take first of all take it in the camera and then save it in the gallery. Like from there you upload it. From the gallery you upload it. Okay. Let's continue. You have Priyanka, you also continue from sixth question. Edward Jenner, what did he discover?
Sir, fermentation.
No. Yes, Abu Bakar, what did Edward Jenner discover?
Sir, vaccine.
That is vaccine, right? Now, the first successful vaccine, and that was for smallpox, discovered by him. Then, who discovered fermentation? Priyanka? Edward Jenner discovered vaccine actually. Then, fermentation was Hmm? I will give a hint. I've written the first letter of his name, first letters of his name.
Louis Pasteur.
Exactly, that is Louis Pasteur. Okay, and he discovered one more thing. Remember?
Pasture.
Pasteurization, from the later part of his name, pasteurization. Good. The process of conversion of sugar into alcohol in the absence of oxygen. What do we call that?
Fermentation.
Fermentation, obviously. Nitrogen fixation is brought about by
Sir, both A and B.
if you say both A and B, it means that all the
Sir.
bacteria help in nitrogen fixation.
So
Priyanka?
then it is A.
Then it is A. Good. Which is not a communicable disease.
So is it A?
Yeah, it is A for the, yeah, for this one also A. Diabetes is not communicable, obviously, no? Good. Next.
Sir, polio.
Look, read the question once again. Plant disease. It's a plant disease. Polio is not a plant disease. It normally infects small children are infected by polio. Polio vaccine, polio drops are given under the Pulse polio program.
Sir,
Uh-huh. You recall this thing? Mhm. Do you remember we learned about the plant diseases? Like I gave you the example of lemon. Lemon gets infected. Lemon
sir.
gets infected by a particular plant disease. Then you have the example of bhindi or okra, right? And brown wheat rust also. It's quite easy if you were to eliminate the options. First of all, eliminate the pick the options, pick the disease that are caused by
Sir, it's C,
microorganisms
right?
in animals. It is C indeed, citrus canker, right? A disease that is spread in the
Sir,
citrus
I
fruits.
told it for you
Oh,
at
oh, Priyanka, like your network is very bad. I hardly can understand what you say. Okay, let's do few more questions from this one. We are going to start a new chapter. Then quickly answer these questions.
no.
Yeah.
Sir, true.
They are too small and are not visible to the naked
Yes,
eye.
sir.
That's true. Good. Next.
Sir, false.
Hmm. Why? Because
Yes.
they can only, yes, Priyanka, where can they reproduce? Only inside the
Human
huh,
cell.
either human cell or bacterial cell or plant cells, right? Hmm. Basically host cell. Next.
Sir, false.
False. Bacteria are an essential part of nitrogen cycle. How is it false? What did we learn about nitrogen fixation? In nitrogen fixation, the atmospheric nitrogen is fixed into the soil by the help of bacteria like rhizobium and blue-green algae,
Yes, sir.
also called as cyanobacteria. Na? Blue-green algae and
Yes, sir.
cyanobacteria, same thing. So they are actually.
True.
Next,
Sir, true.
that is also true.
True.
Because nitrogen is needed by the plants to make protein and some other compound. Even your body needs nitrogen to make protein. Okay, fifth one. That's correct or false?
False.
Huh. Exactly, it's false
False.
because it was Louis Pasteur who discovered pasteurization. It was even named after him. Okay, no?
Yes, sir.
Okay, we will do four more questions and then we will start a new chapter. Name the type of microorganism that is smaller than bacteria. If you were to remember, I give an example. Sorry. I give an example of a microorganism that is so small that about 400 million of that microorganism can fit on the tip of a pin. If you take a pin, iron pin, okay, very small, like just you take a needle. So about 400 million of that microorganism could fit on just a tip of it. Do you guys recall the chart or not? Huh? In the PPT, I have shown you that size comparison chart also, where the size of the human red blood cells and all others were mentioned. Guys should be able to keep these things, like should be able to memorize these facts, huh?
Yeah, yes, sir. Is
Mhm.
it virus?
It is virus indeed. Okay. Look
Okay.
again. Look at the chart once again. See how small are they right now in comparison to all this. By the way, like the cases of COVID is rising. Because you guys know that, right? Cases of COVID is rising at an alarming scale. It's a very concerning thing. Right, the use of yeast. Yes. Where do we use yeast?
Sir, for in like in baking.
Industries.
In the baking industry. And one more.
Sir, for making alcohol.
Yeah.
For making alcohol and wine. Good. Next, what are pathogens? And what write another name of pathogen? First tell me what are the pathogens. Yes. What are the pathogens?
Sir?
Mhm. Pathogens, they are the disease causing microorganisms, aren't they? Pathogens are basically
Yes,
the
sir.
disease causing microorganisms. Okay, they can be bacteria, virus, fungus, right? They could be different kind of parasites, parasitic microorganisms.
Yes,
are
sir.
known to cause a variety of infections and diseases, right? They are capable of causing a damage to the host organism. Okay. Okay, one more question that also we generally call them as germs, right? Now, another name of
So
pathogen is
what about
germs.
microbes?
Microbes are basically in short, like, see, microbe is the word we basically use to denote microorganisms. Okay, now, in short, microorganisms are called as microbes. Getting it? In short, microorganisms are oftentimes referred to as microbes. Okay. Who discovered the vaccine for smallpox? Yes. Who discovered the
Sir,
vaccine for smallpox? Mhm.
Edwin
Yeah.
Edwin Jenner.
Jenner, exactly. Edward Jenner. Okay. All right. So let us start a new chapter today. Hmm. Right now, I don't have any updates from you guys, from others, I mean to say. As for you, Priyanka, we had an extra class scheduled for this chapter where we learned till ignition temperature, right? Okay. And Abu Bakr, you are having this chapter in your upcoming exam that is on 19th of June. So it is best to start this chapter right now. Okay. I would be needing 1 minute so that I can clean the slide and please share with you guys. Okay. So give me 1 minute. Meanwhile, tell me what's happening in the school. How's it going on? You guys going to school regularly? Abu Bakr, what's the timing of your school?
So what?
Sir, it is 1 to 6.
Okay. How do you commute to your school? Like, do you use some vehicle to commute to your school?
Sir, school bus.
School bus comes. Okay, okay. Where you guys would not be using like cycle, no? Or cycle common over there?
No, sir.
No. It wouldn't be possible to like bicycle in the scorching sun, the scorching heat of the sun, particularly over there.
Sir, over here it is 50 degrees Celsius.
50 degrees Celsius right now.
Sir, like in the morning.
In the morning hours, okay. Are they not like nowadays? Are they not using seed clouding method for artificial rain?
Sir, since the flood, they are not used.
Okay, okay. I was watching some videos where it is shown that greenery has returned to the meadows of Arabia, to the hills of Arabia. Greenery has returned. Hmm. And that's a rare thing to observe. So the chapter name is Combustion and Flame. In the chapter, we are going to learn about how does something catches fire, what are the necessary things required for something to catch fire, right? Like in order to light up something, in order to burn something, first of all, you need to have the combustible substance, the substance that will catch fire, or that we can call as fuel. Another, you need to heat it up to a minimum temperature so that it catches fire. That will be its ignition temperature, right, Priyanka? And the third and most important,
Yes, sir.
a supporter of combustion, right? Supporter of combustion. That is obviously oxygen from air. Without these three things, combustion is not possible. And if you have to extinguish a fire, if you eliminate either of these things, then the fire will get extinguished. Right now. So this combustion, you can in fact observe this thing around yourself on a day-to-day basis. Right now. Combustion can be observed around us also. Right. So so that you guys will be able to give some example, let me first give you a definition of combustion. And combustion, basically a substance reacts with oxygen, right? A substance would be react undergoing reaction with oxygen. That's the main thing. Then after reaction with oxygen, it can give out heat and light energy, right? It will give out heat and light energy, but not always in every cases. In some of the cases, it may only give out heat and but not light. Then the rate of combustion will be different. Like here, the firecracker. Rinke, can you tell me is it's which type of combustion? As you have learned this already, what type of combustion is this burning of firecrackers?
Explosion.
Explosive combustion, right? Then forest fires, they catches fire on their own now. No one went there to light them up until and unless like some stupid people went to the forest and they had a campfire and they did not extinguish it. Right now, many times forest fires are caused due to human error. Getting it? So combustion, the rate of combustion will be different. Sometimes like it will be happening slowly. Sometimes it will be happening in explosive manner as the burning of the firecrackers or basically the blasting of the ammunitions of the bombs. So give some examples of combustions from your surroundings. From daily life examples, quote some examples of combustion. Yes, Abu Bakr.
Sir, cooking of food.
Cooking of food, very good. It's also combustion reaction. Okay, then yes, Priyanka, you also quote some examples.
So what?
Give some example of combustion from daily life. burning of coal, burning of wood, and these very simple
Burning
examples.
of paper,
Paper, hmm, and
magnesium.
magnesium ribbon, right?
Yes, sir.
Magnesium ribbon is also an example. Then burning of LPG gas, right? No? Burning of the liquefied petroleum gas to cook food on the stove tops. So these are some of the common examples. But also lighting of the candle, also burning of the petrol in the engines, right? Burning of the petrol in the engine uses are it is not giving out light, but it is still an example of combustion. Why so? Because in combustion, basically, the reaction a substance undergoes reaction with oxygen. It reacts with oxygen and it gives out heat. But in some cases, it gives light also, but heat is always given out. So you guys tell me, if that is the case, that where a given substance reacts with oxygen to give out heat, and it may give out light in some cases. So isn't respiration also an example of combustion? Think about it. Because there also food is basically reacting slowly with oxygen, and in the process of doing so it releases some amount of heat also, right? Yes or no, tell me.
Yes.
Okay, so we'll be learning about all these things in the
Yes,
class.
sir.
Good. Okay, that's the thing. So let me write down the important topics that we are going to learn in the chapter. So that's the content of the chapter. So combustion. Okay, further we'll be learning about examples of combustion from daily life and some particular examples we're going to take a look at. After that, we'll be learning about, hold on, supporter of combustion. Next, we will learn about types of combustion, ignition temperature. Then we have calorific value of the different fuels. The calorific value, we're learning about that. We will do some numerical problems on it, how to find the calorific value of a given fuel. All right. Later on, we'll learn about the flame. Flame, types of flame, then zone of flame, the different zone of flame, we are going to learn about that. Okay, now if a candle burns, you might see that the flame will show different zones, different colors, like yellow zone, blue zone, and in the middle you will see the dark zone, right now, which is not luminous. Basically you will see the dark black zone of the candle in the middle. So we'll be learning about those things as well. Okay, so these are the topics generally we are going to focus upon. Also, there are some other topics also which I haven't written over here. Let me write it. Like we'll be learning about combustible substances, non-combustible substances, etc. And at the end, we'll be doing some questions. So let us start with the very first topic, that it's like it's combustible and non-combustible substances. Okay, hold on. We'll be getting back to that first. We should be actually learning about combustion first. So combustion is basically a chemical process in which a substance would be reacting with the oxygen from air, and it gives out heat and light. What kind of reaction is this? What kind of process is this? First, I said it's a chemical process, right? Because in a chemical process, a substance, two or more than two substances reacts together to form a new substance. You guys keep your cameras on. Both of it on your cameras on. Okay. Priyanka, suppose if you have to ask a question, then at that time you can turn your camera off and then type the question in the chat box. But as I am speaking, it is important that both of you keep your cameras on. Yes, Abu Bakr, turn your camera on. So I'm saying that it's a chemical process in which substance reacts with oxygen to give off heat and light, right? There are many examples of this. Okay. Also, there are some type of combustion reaction right now, like the light which is given off during combustion can be in the form of a flame or just as a glow. Like the light that is given out during combustion, like if a candle is burning, so you can see the light in the form of flame. But if you have heated coal, does coal give you flame? When coal is burned, does it give flame? Yes,
No, sir.
it does not give, no. So that light you can view it in the form of flame, but in some cases it can be viewed only as a glow. So let me write some important stuff over here, that light given off in the reaction, in this reaction or this combustion basically, can be in the form of a flame or a glow, or a glow. That's one thing. Like when a wood burns, when we take the example of burning of the wood, so thereby you obviously get the flame now, right? Or when candle burns, it gives a flame. But suppose when you take charcoal, so when charcoal burns, it produces light in the form of glow, isn't it? So burning of charcoal gives light in the form of a glow. In the form of a glow. That much should have been clear to both of you. All right.
Yes, sir.
Let's take some particular examples of combustion. Also here you can see that when combustion would be taking place, so fuel, oxygen and heat is required. These are the different agents of combustion. Okay. Let us take some examples of combustion first of all. Like we have the burning of magnesium written here. Burning of magnesium. What is magnesium? Is it a metal or a non-metal? Yeah. Magnesium is a, yes. None of you know. You guys actually know, but you guys are not answering it. It's a metal. Magnesium is a metal. Okay, now. So suppose if you have taken a magnesium ribbon like this, you have taken a magnesium ribbon like this, and you burn it with, you burn it. If it starts burning or undergoes combustion, so it combines with the oxygen from the air. What's going to happen over here? That the magnesium, it combines with oxygen from the air, and as a result of that reaction, it gives out magnesium oxide. Gives out magnesium oxide. Of course, heat and light is also given out. Heat plus so much of light is given out, like this dazzling light you guys can see over here. A dazzling white dazzling light can be viewed over here. So you can write down the reaction in the following manner. Magnesium plus oxygen from air gives out magnesium oxide plus heat and light. And that is basically combustion of magnesium, burning of the magnesium over here. All right. Next, you can have the example of burning of charcoal also. We have example of burning of charcoal. So in this, the reaction is going to be a little bit different than the previous one. So here you will see that light will be given off here. Like particularly here, you will view the light in a different manner, like in the form of a flame. You can see the light, but here the light will be given in a different manner. So here you have charcoal, which mainly contains carbon in it. It will be reacting with oxygen from the air, and as a result of the reaction, you get out carbon dioxide plus heat, as well as light is given out here. Light will be simply visible in the form of a glow. So coal contains a lot of carbon. So other than charcoal, coal will also burn in air, producing carbon dioxide, heat, and light. So in the both the examples of combustion that you have seen over here, we find that oxygen is necessary for combustion to take place now, or basically burning to take place. Without it, it cannot happen. So oxygen is actually supporter of combustion. In most of the cases of combustion, oxygen is basically provided by the air around us. Quite simple thing. Okay. So in a way, we can say that air is also a supporter of combustion, because where is this oxygen coming? It's coming from the air only, no? So in a way, we can say that air is a supporter of combustion because it contains oxygen. Now consider some another examples of combustion in our day-to-day life. You know that food is a fuel for your body. Can we say that food is a fuel for our body? Yes or no? If you guys are not going to be responsive in the class and not participate in the discussion, hmm, how are we going to proceed in this manner? If the class is going to stay this much dry, hmm, you guys do not ask any questions, neither respond whether you are getting a topic or not. So like if it's up to me, I can just cover the chapter like into 3 to 4 classes. But I try to ensure that you guys grasp the concepts. That's why every time I teach a topic, I ask whether you guys are getting it or not. Hmm?
Sir, my internet went for 5 minutes. I couldn't.
Both of you guys have this common network issue. As for Prinka, I understand like told me that the area in which you are living, that area has lots of network issue. Okay, see, I was saying that food is a fuel for our body, right? And when respiration takes place in our body, so thereby that fuel is basically kind of burning. It basically reacts with the oxygen that we inhale. So food plus oxygen. So as a result of this, a combustion takes place. And what kind of combustion? A slow combustion takes place. Like when you burn a piece of paper, you immediately see the heat and light coming out of it. You immediately feel the heat and you see the light coming out of it. But when we talk about combustion of the food in our body, so it's an example of slow combustion, and it gives out only heat now, obviously, right? So, the respiration of the food in our cells is also taken as an example of a combustion. It's particularly a example of slow combustion, and in the process, heat is given out. Getting it, Abu Bakr, or not? And Priyanka,
Yes, sir.
right? Also, other than heat, here carbon dioxide gas is also given out or not? It's given out, no? Carbon dioxide gas also, right? Or also like we also see that other than heat, carbon dioxide, water is also being given out in this respiration. So hence we can say that respiration in our body is also also an example of combustion. Particularly which type of combustion? Or slow combustion. It is not happening in a very explosive manner. It happens slow. And the heat produced in the process of respiration here, it is because of that heat our body's temperature is maintained. You know that if we don't eat food for very long hours, if suppose someone has fasted for very long hours, like for 48 hours, for 60 hours, let us suppose. So although the person will be close to death, okay, no, like after not being eaten for 4 5 days, but one of the thing that happens in the body is that the body's temperature will drop down. It will become low. Why? Because this combustion is not taking place in the body anymore. Because we know as the respiration takes place in the body, it's an example of slow combustion in which heat is given out and that heat maintains your body's temperature. But if the person has not been able to get the food for 4 to 5 days, so because of the low temperature, also different organs starts fails to perform their functions properly, and because of those reasons, also person dies. Got this much, everyone?
Yes, sir.
In the upcoming classes, we'll be learning about the different types of combustions. That is rapid combustion, spontaneous, and explosive combustion. Right? Like in rapid combustion, when we burn the firecrackers, when the firecrackers are burnt in the festivals, so they burn very quickly. Right now, they give out heat, light, and gives a high, like they produce a sound also. Then there are some examples of combustion which are happening on its own. Like if you take white phosphorus and you just leave it in the room, it will catch fire on its own because its ignition temperature is very low. It catches fire at a very low temperature, at room temperature particularly. Okay, we'll be learning about spontaneous combustion. Also, many times forest fires would be happening on its own, right? Due to the low rainfall conditions, the plants would be drying up, and as the warm wind will be gushing through them, will be basically the branches would collide with each other. It would get friction because of which heat is generated, and they would be spontaneously catching fire on their own. So that can also be taken as example of spontaneous combustion. Right? Then we have rapid combustion. Like